Howdy, howdy. We back. Got a little something I thought about this morning. I'm big into hand loading. I think some of my viewers might have a little bit to do with some hand loading. Well, we're going to talk about brass cleaning. Everybody wants nice and clean brass. Well, number one, your brass needs to be good and clean because of reliability issues, plus reactivity issues on the inside. When you charge that case with power, you have a bunch of oddball stuff in there. You ain't going to get any consistency, and you might even at some point set up something dangerous. I don't know. Well, before I show you how I clean this menagerie of brass, I got to give you a little backstory on it. In 2018, we got flooded Hurricane Matthew. For two and a half weeks, this brass sat up underwater. Well, I didn't think about the brass. I had a house to rebuild and work on. So we worked on that. This brass just sat out in my shop and just got forgotten about. Well, fast forward to 2018, Hurricane Florence. That was round two. 2 weeks underwater. And at that point, we finally decided, we're going to have to cut our losses and find something else. This ain't working. So we found this little place in the country. We busted our butts and hauled butt out here quick like before the black mold filled the house again. And this brass has sat down here since then. I absolutely pretty much forgot about it. I mean, I had this house I had to work on. I had a lot of stuff to do here. Still got a tremendous amount of stuff to do here. But once I got my little workbench set back up here in the barn, I said, well, God, I got a bunch of brass that probably ain't no good. Well, I got to fiddling through it the other day, and I've actually started doing some cleaning. I've got some in the dehydrator right now, drying up. So you're looking at 17 or 16. You're looking at 5 years. Some of this brass has been underwater. So it's in horrible shape. I have thrown some of it out that was obviously no good. But I'm going to save as much of it as I can. Now, here we go. Everybody wants to open that bullet box up and see that thing is sting. You see little damn sparks flying off of it. It's so nice and pretty. That's great. And that helps with, reliable feeding, reliable loading, and not getting stuck in your dies, not dirtying your dies, not scratching the cases. 1,000 things that has a bearing on. Well, there's people out there that spend a lot of money on case prep. I've done when I first got started in this so long ago, I did the dry media tumble and all that stuff. What I really didn't like about that was all the little pieces of media that get caught in the primer hole, in the flash hole. Well, I got tired of trying to poke that stuff out and get it all cleaned up. So I transitioned over to wet tumbling. I still have the capability to dry tumble, but 99.9% I'm going to be in here doing some wet tumbling. Most everybody in the reloading community has heard of the LSD method. It's lemon shine, which is basically citric acid, and Dawn dishwashing detergent. Well, it works amazing, and it always has. And I just figured I'd do a video on it. But then there's this other group within that group that thinks that they need to put stainless steel tumbling media and all this kind of fancy media in it with that. And in my opinion, that's totally unnecessary. Basically what you're doing, you're taking a tub of water. That's in your little tumbling drums. You put your brass in there. You add your lemon shine, which increases the acidity of it into a very mild acid. Then you add a little bit of Dawn, and just enough Dawn to break the surface tension of the water to make it, I guess you want to call it wetter, stick better, get to more cracks and crevices better. And that's what you do. Well, then you got the other people that dump in all this expensive stainless steel media. Then they got to get all this other equipment to separate all this stuff out. In my opinion, it increases your time it increases your workload and it decreases your efficiency for the same results. So what I'm fixing to show you is how I do my lemon shine, and I've actually got some brass in here in the dehydrator right now drying up that is exactly what you're fixing to see. Now this brass tumbled for 24 hours. That's how long I tumble my brass normally, 24 hours. But this is really bad brass. So it only the same amount of time that I tumble clean brass with, I tumble this old brass that's been soaked in sewer water and God knows what else came floating up through our house at the time of those floods. I think the results are just fine. No, they don't look like brand new cartridges that came out of the manufacturer, but I don't need that. I don't care. I'm not in a fashion show. I go out there and I shoot. I look for accuracy and reliability and consistency. That's me. I'm not really a fancy person by any means. I don't really care about shiny, except for shiny new revolvers. Shiny new revolvers are just gorgeous. But it works. It works well. If you can cut out a couple of steps that are unnecessary, you save yourself time, a little bit of money, and you increase your efficiency just a little bit. So, we're doing 243 brass that's been underwater 2 weeks at a time, dried for a year, under flood water again for more than 2 weeks, and then dried again for several years before I've even gotten to the point of working on it. And the results are, in my opinion, excellent results. Now, normally I decap all my brass before I tumble it, but these were corroded so bad that I couldn't decap. I tried to decap some of them with the universal decap die, but all I was doing was punching holes in it. That's all I was doing, because they were sealed so tight in the primer pocket with corrosion. So I'm hoping that I can punch a lot of these out. I don't expect to salvage all of them by any means, but I hope I can salvage at least 50% of them. That would be great. So without any further ado, I'm going to rearrange this camera and we're going to take a look at before and after. Simply LSD and water, no media whatsoever. 24-hour time tumble. That's it. Man, it looks good. Okay, I'm going to show y'all my lemon shine concoction here. Just regular thing of lemon shine, and I use just a little old powder scoop. Nothing fancy. Definitely nothing scientific about it. I put six of these little scoops in each one. And as you see, I got a little small tumbler. I don't have, I'm going to lose my count, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have all that expensive, fancy name brand stuff, because this works just as good. Just as good. Now, just 1 or 2 drops of Dawn is all you need. Like I said, all that does is break the surface tension of the water and lets it get a little wetter, so to say. That's it. That's all I put in there. That's it. There's no media whatsoever in there. Take this old brass, and I got somehow got this crappy old steel case 556 mixed in here. That's because all these boxes, when I opened some of this stuff up, just disintegrated. Ain't no telling what kind of heebie-jeebie cooties I'm getting on my hand with this old splud water. I grow an extra thumb, but hey, I live in South Carolina. That probably would fit in, wouldn't I? For those of y'all that want to pick on us Southerners. But it's pretty simple. I mean, there's things in this world that you can spend as much money on or the least money on and still get the same results. There's just things like that. And this is one of them. Oh, I'm getting clumsy there and bumping into crap. Let's see. A couple of those cases were in pretty decent shape. That's it. You know, I don't load for volume. I load for quality and consistency and accuracy. Now I'm adding the water to this, and here's something I have found. Let this sit for a little while before you cap it. At least 20 minutes or so, because that lemon shine's going to bubble a little bit, and it will pressurize these dang things, and it will pop the tops off of them if you ain't careful. Especially the more corrosion it starts to work on immediately. So I'll take these things and kind of jostle them around a little bit like that, let it sit. Now here's the brass. Don't know how well you can see this, because I do not have an expensive camera. I literally got the cheapest camera you can get on Amazon. That's the brass we're tumbling. It's really not in good shape at all. I don't think you can see it, but it's terrible. I'm going to drop them two in there. Now I'm going to show you what this brass looks like with no tumbling media and 24 hours of tumbling. Now right there, I just pulled out of the dehydrator. See? And I don't have a lot of money in this stuff. There's the dehydrator. It's still running right there. Works just fine for drying brass out. I wouldn't make beef jerky in it now, though. But as you can see, the brass comes out looking really good. I don't know if you can see inside the primer pockets. They're pretty doggone clean. Inside the case is extremely clean. No, it's not shiny. No, I don't add car wax and all that crap to it. But it works. It cleans them up pretty good. Saves me a few steps by just using the LSD. And it makes for decent enough rounds. Now some of these were horrifically corroded, like this one was corroded to the point where the copper was being extruded from the brass. Now these cases will probably, the cases with all that exposed copper is probably going to get thrown away. Most likely. I'll look at them really, really close, and I'll probably load 1 or 2 test rounds with them just to see, so I can fire them, spec them out, and then see what, you know, if I have any bulges or anything like that, if it's dangerous or not. Beyond that, I'm cleaning up some of the dirtiest brass that you've ever seen, and I'm doing it no different than I did my other stuff. None whatsoever. So that's my little take on case prep. You can spend in it what you want to spend in it. You can do with it what you want to do with it, even though a lot of those extra steps could be pretty unnecessary. It might just be a show. Some people just buy the most expensive stuff out there so they can put it on their bench and, you know, say, hey, tell Joe Blow buddy, hey, look what I just got. Well, okay, that's your game. That's fine. Your money, you do what you want. Me, I'd rather save a little bit of money and put that money toward more ammo, guns, or tools, or whatever else I might need to be shooting at, or, you know, home, all that stuff. Well, you guys have a good one. A little short video for you this Sunday, and we will get back with you with something else when something else pops in my head. Talk to you guys later.